All right. If people are wondering why I'm being weird in the first 10 seconds of the video, I got a new phone. Um, I don't. If I'm being completely honest with you, from the times that I've recorded like this with the previous phone, it feels absolutely no different. To start off, at the very least, let's explain a couple things here. For one, why is there a mess behind me? Two, why is there a... I actually do not see it in the background, but why is there a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh shit lying around here? Yee. Um, I'm cleaning my bedroom. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, I like to be hygienic. Fuck you guys. No, but in actuality, I figured I wanted to make more videos, but I was very disgusted at the horrific scene that was right over here, which was just, if you guys could probably guess, a compiled pile of cards that I never ever in my life touched. But we're we're not getting into that topic, at very least in this video. If I am lucky enough, well, if I have enough energy tonight, I might actually do 2 videos. Yay! I will be specific on the other video that I want to record when that occurs. So, do I tie my hair or do I keep it the way it is? Why am I thinking like this? I have been debating on this topic for the longest time. And particularly because there's a lot of other things I had an idea about. Plenty of things that I recorded, but I decided to just wipe from everything. Cause real quick, to make it clear with the folks that have seen my stuff but have are looking for certain shit that I was talking about in the past, I am cutting everything. And the particular reason is one, I'm deciding to take steps in my life a bit more seriously. So because of that, it requires sacrificing projects that I did not have initial time to work on because of the fact that I was not I thought about it again and I wasn't very passionate in reincorporating the energy that I had to finishing the video. Um, I mean, more or less, right? The more I thought about, I should probably finish that video, the more it just had less and less, like, not necessarily motivation, because there's plenty of motivation for me to make a video, right? To at least post something, even if it's something stupid, like you saw in the previous video. If there's something, at least something, I can post it up there. And that's what I proved to myself in doing that video. But what was my problem? My particular problem is the fact that, well, I am trying to do too many things in one specific segment. You guys ever saw that video with the professor where he is, like, talking about life and was like, oh, these are the big things. These are inside the jar, a bunch of rocks, sand, dirt, and then beer, because everybody should have time for a beer on the side of the... Well, I don't drink alcohol, so I can't really relate to that one. I like soda. I don't like soda. More into Asian drinks, though, like more specifically the coconut water that you get at like the Asian. Getting sidetracked. That's just basically what's been happening. Like literally everything that you saw within the last clip is like the way that I go about certain videos is that like I have a thing, but then something distracts me. I also got promoted in real life, like with my actual job. So I got I won't say anything specific, but let's just say I have one of the best managers in the world, and they are treating me very well. And in doing so, I've just been grinding a hell of a lot for life, just so I can like be able to eat and feed myself, but also try to survive the various emotional situations that I've been trekking through. And in doing so, it has caused me to take a lot of time away from everything that I do. Speaking of which, one of those things is the topic of this video, video games. This isn't necessarily, well, I guess it's kind of an announcement, but it's also more or less like something a bit personal too, like to just kind of like have a discussion for the video. But I don't know if I'm gonna do gaming content. Like, in actuality, I might do Master Duel because I've been very interested to try out the Malice deck that is released onto Master Duel, because it is very, very, very powerful. So powerful. Appaloosa should not exist. And for that reason, I might not try the deck, but I kind of want to because I love the hell out of Malice. More specifically because it feels like Dragon Link, but with tutus. But yeah. Anyways, getting sidetracked again. So there's been this new craze, the Nintendo Switch Toast. This guy's toast. This guy's toast is great. The Nintendo Switch 2 is currently out. And I've been asked by a good majority of folks within my lifespan, within my circle, hey, you getting that Switch too? To which I immediately no. Why? Because when I buy it, I won't own it. Says who? No one can say that you can't. Oh yes, they can. They very much can. Now, I just basically want to break this down quickly without over-explaining on it. Long story short, I know of 2 companies that are currently active that does this. So, we'll just make them an example. Nintendo and Ferrari. When you buy a Nintendo Switch or a Ferrari, what occurs is you sign a piece of paper. What does that piece of paper specifically say in fine print? Well, I don't particularly know if it's in fine print, let's be real. But long story short, you don't necessarily own the device or product. Now, it's very simple for a lot of folks that either own that said device, not the fucking Ferrari. Maybe there's a couple folks that own a Ferrari that I don't know why you're watching me. Why are you watching me if you own a Ferrari? Fucking. So, a lot of people will probably ask, is that illegal? And by technicality, no, because the business is just essentially built off of like you can rent in a particular fashion, similar to how people have like rent for homes, like houses or apartments or boats or cars, right? But you're not necessarily like owning them. You're just getting a license to like use them on a daily basis as if it is your own. Now, why would anybody sign this? I have no fucking clue. I genuinely don't. Especially when it was released and Konami, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Too much. I'll tell you, I've been playing fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Anywho, long story short, Nintendo basically wants to make it to where, they kind of like control the way that people use their devices. And before anybody starts like spamming Nintendo specifically, it's only 2 particular people that currently own the corporation that are businessmen, not like gamers. So, that's the one thing. Please don't send like. I wouldn't want anybody who watches me to send death threats to anybody. So like even if it's joking, like just don't do it. It's not good. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for other people. Okay? Just don't fucking do it. No, but for real though. We consider the stake at hand, right? Like if I theoretically speaking wanted to modify my device, I just wouldn't be able to do it. Because then what would occur is Nintendo would send out their Japanese ninjas, and I legitimately mean Japanese ninjas because like people specifically from Japan that will have a mindset to like kind of cut these things unless they want to specify that they don't, then they can specify, but they won't. But anyways, as I was saying, um they can send spies to essentially like ruin your life, and they have a legal way of doing so because Japan has done so similarly to other people. One example you guys may have known is a while back when Toei Animation tried to sue somebody for like over 2 million or $2 billion, but basically a very specified amount that would essentially ruin their lives because then they would just be on the backbone of debt just simply because they made content with Toei Animation Studios anime. Now, obviously, in a sense where something like that can occur, it's just plain evil. But it, through some threads, can be legal because somebody was stupid enough to try to hack Nintendo, and they are still currently in the debt of Nintendo lawsuit because they cannot pay the amount all in all within that single moment. And nobody in their damn right minds would want to anyway because of the fact that, for one, Japan is not a very respected business, like in terms of business algorithm, they're not very respected for the fact that the mindset that they have for business is just purely like we will take advantage at any point that we can. Now, is it specifically stated? Of course not. Of course. Like if you were to like theoretically scam somebody, right? You wouldn't want to put it out there that you're scamming people. You're just putting out there that you're wanting to put business. That's what I mean when I say like, you know, certain things that are evil, right? Japan is willingly doing. They're actively doing, and why they're not being respected. You know, it's more or less just facts. Here's specifically what I mean for that particular point. And it'll be the last thing that I'll jot down just so like no one thinks I'm going crazy here. So if you were to think in your right head, right, you create a YouTube video just simply about talking about stuff. If somebody were to then take that video, right, they took a clip from it and then they used it to, you know, add to a point or debate a point, would you theoretically be able to sue them for, you know, over $1 million? No. Because in terms of fair use, they have followed that law, but also for like terms of like specific topics on what occurred for the the suing to take place, just morally doesn't really fit. Like it wouldn't fit for the judge. You're right, but let's think about it in the global sense. Okay, so let's think about it that way. So from what I can recall, right, it's been such a very long time since I've seen the situation. So do not use this video. I will claim here. Do not use this video as like particularly for like facts on specific events. I'm using specific events as just argument points for what will be the explanation at the end of the video. But long story short, if I can remember correctly, I just remember somebody thought it'd be a very funny idea to hack into a Nintendo system and then do whatever the hell. I believe a couple things they were doing was leaking, but they were also like doing a particular business, and that business was semi shady, but not exactly like, oh, you know, we'll have you arrested. But Nintendo was very upset to the point where like they found particular people, which everybody, well, I don't want to say everybody, I think it's only Omni that says Nintendo ninjas, and I love Omni to death, so you know I will just continue saying Nintendo ninjas. But essentially, the Nintendo ninjas or spies just compiled a ton of evidence, Batman style. And Nintendo found a way for this man to live not even live for the rest of his life, just essentially waste his life in eternal debt. Because the amount of money that was sued towards him was like over $2 million. If it isn't exactly that number, it was over, and even if it was a little less, it was like not the amount of money, especially in like American standards, that was like possible. So he's basically going to have the rest of his life wasted away because of the fact that he upset a country or a company within a country, a separate country. And, you know, despite the fact that some people would say that like it is taken a bit too far, which I feel that way to an extent, it was also a particular situation that people looked at and was like, well, you know, you fought the wrong people, which I can agree with that too. Two things can be right at the exact same moment. There's no black or white in these countries. However, what do these points constitute for why I decided not to get a Switch 2 and why I decided not to do gaming content anymore? Well, let me put it frankly. I personally believe that if Nintendo, right, like, let's put it all in order. GTA 6, potentially being a video game worth over $100 per copy, electronic or physical, makes it a possibility that any other gaming company will then therefore go up to that margin in price. Why? Not to disperse quality there, but more or less the idea, oh, well, they did it, I'm going to do it too, because I have the legal right to. Secondly, if Nintendo is the first company to make a business based off of licensing, right, where we get a device, but we don't own it, and it's being monitored and particularly has, or the particular case has the chance to be upheld by the company due to specific reasoning, right? Like, basically, to get all that intricate shit out of the way, they could turn off my Switch, right? The fact that that is a possibility is something I don't want to support and something I do not want to indulge myself into. You know, like, when I'm buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like, if I'm buying this, it's mine. If I want to resell this, no one mentions the fact that I fucked up my hand shuffling, so fuck you. If I wanted to put it in a sleeve, if I wanted to get it graded by PSA, Beckett, CGC, like any of the people, I could rip it into two. I could do all sorts of things just simply due to the fact that I bought it, right? That is the right that I want, and the right that I think we should all keep. I don't support a company that wants to go forward by parental control, because I think it's very ridiculous. You know, I myself personally wouldn't want a cell phone, wouldn't want a electronic device. I wouldn't even want to like walk around or have a car if I know that someone is in the back tracking me, right? I just want to get out of that environment if that were the case, because it's just weird. Why is it that my every action, my everything, my any particular thing that I do can be monitored? And of course, the government is already doing it. I live by that fact already in a particular weird way. But the reason I can live on that and not something like this is because of the fact that the government doesn't really acknowledge anything. So everything is hearsay. So because everything is hearsay, I don't really give a shit about what I do. You know, like if it bothered me so much, I would just like work enough, get the money to go to an island, and then just kind of like live on the island. No particular connection at all. You know, I'd probably find my own way to like have my own fun and do my own thing. If that were like, again, hypothetically speaking, if that were truly the case, you know. But because a lot of things are hearsay, and there's so much stress that can build into like what you do on your daily basis because of that, that's just something I don't really worry about. You know, like I said, the government, while they can claim that, or while anybody can claim that, or they see that, right? It can be true. It can be true. Can it be not true? To some degree. Do I believe it? Of course I would. But I also don't think that there's enough that occurs in the world that for the government to really do or say anything, right? Because there's a hell of a lot that occurs with plenty of devices around, plenty of things, and if that were truly the case, I'm pretty sure we would have a hell of a lot less problems. If you truly think about it that way, right? So then when we come into the sense that a car company or a video game company can see that you put a sticker on a Switch and then go, oh no, we want to reclaim that thing back. That's a problem to me. You know? Why am I going to buy your products then if you're going to take away my right of ownership? Fuck that. Like, imagine you're going to imagine for Yu-Gi-Oh players, right? The Yu-Gi-Oh player, or like any TCG player in my audience. Imagine you go to an event and then it's reported by the company that you just like dented the corner slightly just because of like a particular accident, or just even intentionally like slapping your card down for the hell of it, and then all of a sudden that card just gets repurposed, or like, is it repurposed? I don't know English anymore. Basically, they claim the card back just simply because you misused it, which I think should happen for certain cards. I'm going to be honest with you. But for the fact that, like, that, right, in and of itself, a very absurd hypothetical situation is a thing happening for fucking video games, should tell you why that was a fucking moth. Should tell you why I really don't want to like indulge myself in these video games anymore, because of the fact that there's so much at hand that people just want to do. There's so much control that people want, and it's fucking sickening. Like, and again, I'm not trying to put it out there as like some conspiracy theorist or whatnot, but like these things are true. These things are like very much true. If it were just a rumor that Nintendo was thinking about doing or putting that out there, but it's not been official, then that's where I wouldn't give a shit. I would just be probably doing my own thing, and I probably would have stupidly bought a Nintendo Switch 2, or, you know, done so, and just kind of did my own thing. But then for the fact that Nintendo confidently puts it out there that is going to be the case from this day forward, then that's just something I don't want to support. And it upsets me because of the fact that, like, this isn't a thing that, you know, we can really prevent anymore, right? Because there's been plenty of people that bought the device just simply to have it. And we can't really take that right away from people, right? But now we're in a situation where, like, Nintendo sees that it works. So because of that, and because they have just enough information to say, oh, let's just do whatever we want, then they're going to continue doing so. Now, obviously, there's a lot to really think into, and I want to, like, say real quickly, I really don't care if you decide to buy your Nintendo Switch 2 or you disagree with the points that I'm putting out there. Because at the end of the day, this is just me. It's me choosing not to spend over $500 on a console that has +2 upgrades for every feature, except for freedom. You know what I mean? That's it. Like, I will still play on somebody else's Nintendo Switch 2 if they brought it. I will still, like, have it over at my house if someone decides to bring it. I will still, like, you know, do whatever the hell. I'm still considering pre-ordering the Zygarde Switch 2 because I don't plan to, like, do anything with it aside from the fact that it looks like a very cool device. But that's it. Like, now again, I'm gonna say, like, I'll reiterate on the fact that I just said thinking about, because of the fact that, like, you know, I don't really want to indulge or divulge in a particular thing, like, you know, like this. It bothers me that it bothers me that basic human rights from another country is being thrown under the bus. Like, that's what really bothers me, you know. Um, and if it's too political for you guys, I'm sorry. I don't want to get too deep into it, but like, is it not crazy to think that somebody is simply saying you're mistreating the thing that you just bought, or you're not using the thing that you just bought for the purpose that it's used for, and we're just gonna take it back. I remember seeing Justin Bieber and a few other rappers just like customize their Ferraris, and the Ferrari company just took it back because of the fact that they have that like thing, either a fine print or some stupid shit in the contract, simply saying we will take back the vehicle if we deem it not used properly. If it was being destroyed, that could probably be a very decent case, right? But it's just simply for the fact that there's customization added to the car. They're like, our cars are so good, we don't need any customization. To which, like, when you really put it into thought, it just bothers me that I would put my money into a system like that, and I'm like, no. I'm already in a country, so I can't really have a choice on like what I do on that. So because of that, if anybody were thinking on asking me those particular questions, I can't really do or say anything because I'm already put into a country. So I can't really do that thing. So I have a choice to like purchase this device or not, or purchase any game going forward. So I'm gonna just choose not to. I prefer older games anyway. Piracy is going to be probably a harder problem for us in the future, so it might be worth investing into some of these older stuff that is not being highly priced. So I was thinking, like, I got inspired by this very aesthetic girl. It's one of those faceless content creators, but she bought a Game Boy SP, Game Boy Advance SP, a Nintendo DS, and another device. And mind you, this is like an old video, like really old video, like from 4 or 5 years back. And it's just, oh, I got these things and they look very aesthetically pleasing. And I'm like, damn, I kind of want to do that. Because of the fact that, like, a lot of ROM websites, right, that I've used are all slowly being taken down. So there's no point in the future on like ROM hacking anymore because of the fact that it's slowly being taken away, So now I have to like go into I have to do particular things to enjoy the games that I like, which I don't entirely mind since like a lot of it has become cheaper. I mean, I'm blessed at the fact that I still have this. This is an old copy of Pokemon Heart Gold, and it's amazing because I have a save file and everything, and if I wanted to reset it, I can, and there are particular things with it. Anyways, as I was saying, I'm getting sidetracked. Like, there's a whole lot with gaming that makes it a hell of a lot harder to kind of produce content for us. So, long story short, there's just like too much for me, like too many hoops for me to have to jump through to like make any regular gaming content. Because I know I said a while back that I wanted to be somewhat variety, or like Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't my end all be all. Yu-Gi-Oh was just a hobby that I divulge time into, and I'm competitively active into because of the fact that I find enjoyment in playing a children's card game. But what I had done previously was video games, and I did a hell of a lot of video games, and now because of the current situation that is bestowed upon us I have decided not to divulge in the content anymore. It's unfortunate that it has to like come down to this because I enjoyed making gaming content. Like, I remember I would make what was it? I used to make let's plays for Pokemon. I had like a Nuzlocke that I didn't complete, and for that Nuzlocke, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta what is it? I gotta do a particular thing. I caught these particular Pokemon, and then I would time it all specifically so that like my phone could have 15 minutes of um 15 minutes of a video of gameplay of me doing whatever the hell. I would record a video the following day, and just have content ready. Uh, it was old, and I really didn't like the idea that I would like squeeze everything and condense it to 15 minutes. Um, which is the reason why I really like these phones that I have because they allow me to do that. But it's rough. Let's plays got repetitive, right? So I don't really play things casually anymore. I like competitive stuff. And even for competitive stuff, right, it's a little hard because a lot of these people play competitively just for the fact that like they want to establish a name for themselves. I play competitively just because it's fun to do so. I like to have I don't like it when I'm repeating a story for the sake of like repeating it, because I can do that in my casual time. For me, to make content out of it is meh, because I feel that like most times when I'm playing a video game, I'm usually quiet, so I don't have like any particular reactions unless like I'm gonna do something with friends. I think in a group setting like that will probably be a more fit let's play style of video. But I mean, even for that, there's a lot of work, right? So video games in general just take too much of my time to like properly do. So it's just something I'm not gonna like prep for. So given all the things that I've said, the yapping that I've done, there's not much more to add to this topic. I really despise Nintendo. I really despise any video game company just taking advantage of like the consumers the way that they have been, because it's no longer business anymore. It feels like a pyramid scheme. It feels like a what is it? What Andrew Tate would call the Matrix. But like legitimately, when you really put it into thought, it is just crazy. It's just crazy that a group of people just want money in a particular manner that will completely and only benefit them, and you're the one losing profits, which is absolutely astounding to me, and I fucking hate it. I hate it with the bottom of my gut, and I normally don't hate things. I find things more or less bothersome, and this is the first time that I've ever felt not enraged, but definitely like disappointed. Like, because video games didn't need to come down to this, but now it has, and here we are. Just more problems. I will reiterate, for anybody watching this video, it is perfectly okay if you buy a Nintendo Switch 2. I will never, ever personally judge you on that decision, because that is your device, despite it not being yours technically, but that is your action and your decision. It will never be a problem ever, right, that you buy a device or you buy a particular thing. When I said before that a lot of idiots are just purchasing the Switch 2 outright, it's more or less the fact that the call out to people that do things blindly. I'll admit, okay, just for Yu-Gi-Oh purposes, there have been a couple times that I get not disgusted but disappointed and a bit aggravated hearing certain points come across from Joshua Schmidt, and it's more or less like not even who he is as a person or as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, because I respect both, but more or less just the manner of the manner and tone and the vibe from said or done statements that it comes from a person who has nothing but everlasting positivity for a company, a product, or a thing. Now, is that entirely who he is? No. The point is more or less just the fact that I find that within people a lot, but I can still respect them as a person. So, that's all this is. Don't go around spreading that people shouldn't buy the Switch 2, because do what you want with your life. That's all I can ever that's all I can ever really push to, because why make a video like this and not reiterate a point like that? I have the opportunity to, because I like peace and I like to be able to have a discussion without cutthroat problems between one another. So there's that. If this video gets taken down for any particular reason that involves the company, then I'm fucked. But have a good day, y'all. If people watch this video and there's another video with his black shirt, I promise I do laundry. I promise I shower. I just had more time. Have a good day.